moving. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Oh, in the name of God. Now I know what it feels like to be God.
Hello and welcome to How to Be an Icon. I'm Jared Jones and I'm, of course, joined by Donna Cameron. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing really good today. I
Yeah?
got to do what we are going to soon know as a Donna episode.
It sure is a Donna
and it's not
episode.
a regular Donna episode. It's a Donna episode. How are you doing, dog?
I'm really good. But I don't know how much of this I should say in case anyone is listening. But I've had an unexpected week off from work.
Due to an administrative error,
Yes.
Jared's got a free week off work.
It's really, really interesting because I went to log onto my computer on Monday morning and I was like, this isn't working. And so I was like just messaging people like WhatsApp and being like, I am here, by the way, like, don't worry about it. I just can't seem to log on. And I got a message from my boss being like, yeah, nothing we can do about that one.
Sorry about it,
Sorry
bud.
about that. We'll let you know when it's sorted. And that was Monday. We are now recording this on Thursday. I still haven't heard anything. They've stopped messaging me. So I am a bit like, I don't know what's going on.
I have a theory that they fired you in the most like passive aggressive way possible.
Maybe.
Imagine. Absolutely imagine. Like, no, like just next week. And you're like, okay, but the money stopped coming through. And they're like, no, don't worry, it's coming.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we're here now.
It's been a great week for the podcast.
It sure has. And by the way, if you are enjoying our podcasts, please give us a review on your podcast platform of choice, whether that is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is that you're listening to us on. You can also follow us on Instagram at How to Be an Icon Pod. And we also have our Patreon, patreon.com/How to Be an Icon. We are currently going through our Spooky Club. Every Friday we have a new episode going through. Our first one was on Resident Evil 4. You probably heard it because it came up on Spotify, just to give you kind of an idea of what it is like. But yeah, if you want to listen to the rest of them, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/How to Be an Icon. You also get access to our post show where we talk all about the happenings and whatnots that have been going on in between our podcasts.
The ins and outs and the do's and don'ts. And also on our Patreon for Halloween, something very exciting is coming up. But you'll find out more about that very, very soon. It is, of course, October, though, Jared.
It sure is.
The spookiest season.
And I'm not talking about tax time either.
Oh, I'm going dressed as student finance.
Yep.
How do you feel about Halloween? What's your...
I think it's perfectly fine. I think, like most things, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with how much people get into it. I'm like, can we turn it down a little bit? I don't need you to bleach out your personality. If you enjoy Halloween, absolutely go right ahead. I'm not bothered by that. I think the thing for me is like when it's like October, you're doing your house like Christmas in October. I'm a bit like, guys, come on.
I do think we have forgotten the real reason of the season, which is not to fill your house with plastic crap.
Yeah, exactly.
It is to sit in a darkened room reading spooky stories.
Ooh, yes.
And we're going to talk about some pretty spooky stories today.
I'm excited.
Our icon today, Jared, we are talking about Mary Shelley.
Yes.
And Frankenstein.
Name a more iconic duo, let me tell you,
Other than like Dracula, those two have like paired up way more than they should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the novel Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And just so that everyone knows, Frankenstein's the name of the book, not the monster.
Okay. All right.
That's the only time I'm going to make that joke.
Yeah.
But before we begin, Jared, what's Mary Shelley's favorite drink? It's not the creepy mudslide, unfortunately.
Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, she's a goth woman. We know this. So I'm going to say a Monster Ultra is my guess. I think
If she could have had access to a Monster Ultra, she absolutely would have. She was drinking the Monster Ultra of her time, Jared. Tea.
Oh, tea. Ooh, do you think she's a Twinings woman for sure, right? She's an Earl Grey Twinings.
I don't know when the Twinings Company began.
That's a great question. I mean, we're doing some on-air Googling. Yeah, that's Twinings, yeah.
Oh, yeah, then no, maybe. 1706. So.
1706, yeah.
There you go, everyone.
Yeah.
You've learned something.
Stephen Fry did his first ad for them. It was him, Mary Shelley, and Jane Austen. And he goes, I'll have a Twinings, please.
My nan used to work at the Twinings factory. On with the show.
On with the show.
Mary Shelley was born on August 30th, 1797. She is best known for her Gothic novel, The Modern Prometheus, or by its better known title, Frankenstein.
I didn't know it was called The Modern Prometheus.
It is, I think its full title is Frankenstein, semicolon, The Modern Prometheus.
Well, The Modern Prometheus came out a couple years ago, and something to do with Alien, I think.
It was rubbish, and everyone hated it, and we all had to listen to boring men's opinions about it.
Exactly.
Frankenstein is notable because it is considered by many to be the first science fiction story.
Yeah, I did know that.
I did a little bit of research into this to see if there were like other examples, and like genuinely not really.
Man.
There are stories that had science in them, but there weren't any that were kind of proposing fake science.
We had real science, baby. We're not faking our science.
Jared, we're about to read about so much real science today.
Oh, man. Again, this is one of those things where you go, on paper, what do you mean no one had come up with the concept of fictional science before then? But I guess someone had to be the first one to do it.
My argument would be, up until that point, all science had been fictional.
That's true.
And we'd only just really started nailing down the process into proving things.
I mean, that is a very good point. We just sort of said things as real science.
And again, there's going to be so many people saying things and people going, nailed it. Mary Shelley was the daughter of William Godwin, a publisher, and Mary Wollstonecraft, who is considered to be the mother of modern feminism and the author of an essay called A Vindication of the Rights of Women. This essay boldly argues in 1792, women were not naturally inferior, but it was due to their lack of education. And she also believed that boys should be educated the same as girls. Which everyone was like, whoa.
Wow.
Mary, calm down.
So you're telling me that Mary Shelley was the first woke Nepo baby, first of many generations to come, father a publisher, mother a feminist.
She's not the worst woke Nepo baby. We're yet.
Yeah.
There's worse ones.
Oh, my God.
But,
wow.
A Vindication of the Rights of Women has this really interesting quote in it that really... when you understand Frankenstein as a novel, you go, oh, I see what we were doing. A great proportion of the misery that wanders in hideous forms around the world is allowed to rise from the negligence of parents. Wow. Am I really thrown at you, Mary?
Yeah. Jeez.
And this is a theme that we just see throughout Mary's life. So when I refer to Mary currently, I am talking about Mary Wollstonecraft. Not Mary Shelley. I will make sure we know when it switches. But Mary Wollstonecraft and William were very modern, and they believed in free love, in which they slept around, hurt each other's feelings, and like didn't quite kind of rectify that at any point. But like it was just so cool. We were just being all so free and fun.
That's so free and fun. That's nothing bad will ever happen in those situations.
Well, no, because William had an illegitimate daughter with another woman who ended up living with them called Fanny. But Fanny does not matter in this story. So much so, she ended her life because everyone forgot she existed.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to bring that up because the story is marred with tragedy, Fanny being one of many. But William and Mary...
Also, sorry, I know her name is not Shelley, but Fanny Shelley is a funny name.
I know.
Shelley Fanny. Sorry.
You can have it. William and Mary announced the marriage and they were gifted a basket of eggs. Great wedding gift. Mary was also pregnant when they announced the marriage, which was like, oh my God, so controversial.
That really is.
They were really convinced they were going to have a boy and he was going to be named William. And they like wrote books and did all this harrowing stuff. There were complications with the birth and...
Well, yeah, she came out a woman. That's a real complication.
First big one.
First big complication right there.
Second, arguably bigger one, the afterbirth didn't detach.
Oh.
And William rushed out for a doctor and came back with the only doctor at the Royal College of Physicians who was also a trained midwife.
Wow.
So he really went I need the best guy for the job.
I mean, yeah.
He attempted to remove the rest of the placenta with his bare hands. When she was later moved to hospital, she died of septicemia, and a lot of the nurses believed that the procedure wasn't necessary. On September 10th, William noted the time of his wife's death in his diary, but not the event.
Well,
which was just kind of very sad.
Yeah, you just put the, you need the important details.
Just
exactly.
You don't need to make a thing of it.
Exactly. Come on now.
I got books to sell.
Exactly.
Mary Wollstonecraft was 38 years old, and she had left William with her daughter, Mary. Now, every time I say Mary, I'm referring to Mary Shelley. Her mother's death had a huge, it shocked everyone around them because she was such a big presence of force. She was so well known and so revolutionary as being a feminist at this time. And it really changed William. He was once a very respected writer in his own right, and fell into scandal after publishing his wife's letters and diaries.
Well,
I think was more common to do
I was
when
gonna say,
notable people died.
Yeah, I think that is kind of a known thing, isn't it?
All Mary knew of her mother growing up was a painting in her father's study, the stories that she heard, and the grave she visited every week and traced the letters on the tombstone. And it was never kind of outright said, but everyone was a bit wow, Mary, killed your mum. Because science hadn't yet made the connection between sanitation and infection, there was no way the doctor to know that he was making this huge mistake. William thought he'd done the best thing. And, human experience is a bit messier for us to make these A to B connections, but this one's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
When we get to Frankenstein. And it's also where Mary Shelley became a goth.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna call it here. It's when your mom dies in tragic circumstances and you have to learn the alphabet from her tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it goth.
Yeah, that's fair.
William was oh my God, this is such a bummer. And he just kind of bailed pretty quickly, went to go work on other things. And he ended up marrying a woman called Mary Jane Clairmont.
He's got a thing for Marys, Or was there only 4 names at the time?
I think it was more that there were 4 names at the time. Everyone was called Mary. And he's a bit I love writing books about educating children, don't know squat about raising them.
Yeah, well.
So, Mary Jane? Mary Jane came with her own 2 kids, Claire and Charles. Charles doesn't matter. Claire does. She comes into this much later, and oh boy, she's up to stuff. They were living in the country at the time, and they were in this kind of big circle of intellectuals. Everyone was coming around and sharing ideas. And in 1799, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Sam's great. He has a massive bipolar problem, and he loves opium.
Common of the time, I believe,
But he was real wacky with it. He got a bit bonkers towards the end. But everyone's this guy's great. You should have him over. And he just end up staying at people's houses for weeks at a time, unprompted. Right. He was a beloved family friend, and one night he starts performing the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and Mary's listening behind the sofa. This is really notable because even at a really young age, there is imagery in that poem that is directly mirrored in Frankenstein. She almost directly pulls ideas and images from it. But these weren't the only people at the house. Because, Jared, this was a time for science! I'm going to make a little bit of a side note.
Right.
Because I want to talk about 2 real cool guys. We have Luigi Galvani, who was an Italian scientist.
Who would have thought?
I know. Best known for his work on Animal Electricity. Great funk album.
Okay.
This was typified in his 1780 experiment where he was able to make a frog-like twitch by touching it with an electrical spark.
But you can do that with salt or something, Can
you?
I believe so. Yeah. There's something that you can do it I think it is with salt, and yeah, they'll start moving.
He was the first guy to do it, and he was also related to a guy, shockingly also Italian, called Giovanni Aldani.
Mm-hmm. Giovanni Aldani.
Aldini. I'm sorry. And his speciality was the reanimation of both human and animal corpses. What are you doing all day? What?
I mean, I guess that this is the
What
thing
a
of like...
weird man you are.
But people just had like time and money on their hands. And electricity as well.
This was the question I was going to bring to you with. Do you think these guys were also cool at the time? Or do you like, no, I don't want to hang around with Luigi. He is like electrocuting dead things.
I mean, there is a famous thing of like how we get the microwave oven. This is obviously way, way later.
Okay, go on.
But one of the things that they did was microwave hamsters. And so that they would come back alive. And it worked. So, and that was like part of it. I mean, there's a bit more to the story than that. But,
I was going to say, that sounds like a fake thing that I'd read in an Instagram post.
But basically, yeah, a guy made a thing using microwaves. He was able to bring hamsters back to life. But he did also put, I think it was a jacket potato in there and was like, this is actually pretty good. We could probably do something with this.
Do you know what's better than like torturing tiny mammals? A tasty hot potato.
I don't know if they were torturing the hamsters. They weren't doing it while they were alive. That was
right. Okay, because was my. I thought you were just like popping in like Munchkin and just watching it like
no
on the walls like a lasagna.
No. Again, it's also like a way lower wattage as well. It wasn't like we weren't just like putting them in. Again, this could be one of those things that I'm talking about, and it's absolutely incorrect in and I've like got all of this wrong, but. You know, I'm going to go out and say an 80% fact that is a thing that...
Post-show, we will check on this.
I watched a video on it, and Tom Scott would never lie to me, so... So I'm sure people... I've said Tom Scott now, and people are going to be like, oh, I know the video you're talking about, so I've covered my ass with that one a little bit.
Legally,
I've invoked Tom Scott, so... And he's never steered anyone wrong before, so I think we're fine.
Well, Mary Shelley, as a 6-year-old child, is sat on a sofa listening to conversations between her dad and men who are believers in scientific experiments.
She would have loved Tom Scott, you know.
Don't know who you're on about.
Yeah, you do. The guy with the red shirt and the grey hair.
I never knew that was his name.
Yeah. He goes to like airports and things. He's like, here's a little mode of transportation. Here's a lift that goes sideways. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. Mary Shelley would have loved that shit. Anyway,
she absolutely would have. Because as a kid, she is listening to an experiment involving 240 metal plates, which are used to generate electricity, which is blasted through the skull of a man who murdered his wife. His face began to twitch.
Why did we want to reanimate that guy?
Because you were only allowed to experiment on criminals.
I don't want that guy coming back. What if it had worked?
Then they take him down immediately. But they were like, look, all of this is disgusting and unethical. We only do it to criminals.
Do it to the scum of the earth and then we're fine.
And we all just stand there going, oh my God, he's like moving.
I was going to say, I don't want to be bringing back criminals.
We were only allowed to.
Okay.
I love this experiment, though, because they did it and the arm ended up hitting someone.
Oh, my
like
God.
Bloody Dr. Strangelove.
Ugh.
Just like,
yeah.
popping that salute. But you're just like, why are we telling this story in front of children?
Why not?
There's just this tiny Wednesday Addams little girl being like, amazing, tell me about how it twitched.
Yeah.
Did it scream? At age 10, the family moved from their like semi-rural, like lovely little house to 41 Skinner Street, a location that I think Charles Dickens would describe as a bit much.
Okay.
From 1800 to 1820, it was considered the place for executions in England. People loved it. It was like WrestleMania every weekend.
Oh, what? And they lived round by there?
They lived around there, yeah. They moved into the area where all the hangings and the executions took place.
Oh, fun.
It was also around where all the publishing happened.
I see.
It was the publishing district. There were a bunch of slaughterhouses and all the executions.
I mean, you got to pack it in, I guess.
Because in 1807, 28 people were crushed to death during a double hanging.
Yeah.
People are so excited for it. And from the second story window, Mary could actively like see a slaughterhouse.
Fun.
Yeah, so again, just like such good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It is like if the Addams family were real, but everyone was miserable because Mary Jane is beating everyone.
Okay.
She has a bad relationship with her dad because he's like, oh my God, killed my wife. And he also has no money, a thing that comes up all the time.
Right.
If you think being able to see the slaughterhouse from the window is bad, William, one of his friends had recently been sent to a debtor's prison that he was able to see from his window.
Oh, okay.
So from every direction, this haunted ass house is just like, no one's having a good time. And he's also writing and publishing essays that are like, the best we can hope for is a peaceful death, I guess. Luckily, Mary is beginning to get sent away because she's developed eczema and an attitude.
But teen you know?
Oh my, again, most teen girl you've ever met.
You know? She's itchy and she's pissed.
She does not want to live here and she does not like any of you.
Yeah.
What a My Chem album would have done for this child.
And some like Sarah Vive, you know? Like it's... She probably wouldn't have liked the Michael Cera adverts. You know?
She definitely has a Bebo. She would have definitely got a Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
She'd have been big on it. But she moved. She lived in Ramsgate for 6 months and then later in Scotland for 2 years. And they just like sent her unaccompanied on a boat. No one was like supervising this child.
Yeah.
It was a bit like, oh, go, like get out of here. But she loved Scotland, especially the landscape, being out in the country, not being actively haunted by the sound of dying animals and men.
Yeah.
You know,
That'll do it. That'll definitely do it.
The haunted cries of your father,
Mhm.
just all of that. And she also began developing her like intimidating reading habits. She's like one of those people who can like read books in the way that only teen girls can read books.
Yeah.
Like voraciously.
Well, we didn't have Twitter back then, so you know there was less stuff to read.
She'd have been on all over Twitter though. When she returns to London though, she's taken to a series of lectures which in her diary sucked. But she's exposed to one of our big boys, Lord George Gordon Byron. We'll do an episode about Byron because he's, oh God, what a mess. What a boy. But while she's at these like boring lectures, William is making another young friend, Percy Shelley. Now, if Mary Shelley is Wednesday Addams, Percy is like some sort of Machine Gun Kelly Nepo lord.
Okay.
He's the hottest mess I have ever read about. Every single thing.
And you've read about Oscar Wilde and his many.
He's the only person I think Oscar Wilde would be like, wow, Percy, like, calm down.
Okay.
He is so het to a fault.
Right.
So, Percy had eloped with the daughter of a coffee shop owner called Harriet.
I mean, we all love a barista, you know?
Exactly. It starts with him eloping with a barista.
Because she definitely was flirting with him, okay? Like, you know, he shouldn't do that with everyone.
This was after he'd been kicked out of Oxford for publishing a pamphlet called The Necessity of Atheism.
Oh my God.
He was like winding up his dad being like, I don't want your title. I just want money with no strings attached. I'm going to be a liberal and a revolutionary. Like, and he ends up getting kicked out of the house from what I can gather is being 19 and an asshole.
Yeah, that sounds about right, you know.
You know, not an experience I have any knowledge of. No, I was never kicked out of the house. Like, that's not.
No, you left willingly.
I left very willingly.
Yeah.
But Percy ends up writing to William because he's a fan of his work. And William's like, I need money, and kind of humors him. He has this belief in this quote, which is, money belongs to the man who needs it most without the need of gratitude.
I mean,
that's a fun way of going, no, I need your money, rich boy.
I think that's...
And he just kind of like woos Percy over a little bit, and Percy ends up offering him to make himself useful via friendship, to give him a lot of money, and to give him a house when he's old enough to do so. Jared, do you think Percy ends up doing any of those things?
I would say probably not.
No, he doesn't get anywhere near to any of them, ever.
Right.
But this is going on while Mary's not here. Mary's still in Dundee, and she is having a hot girl summer. Dundee at the time is notable because it's very liberal and very Republican compared to a lot of cities.
Yeah.
And it's also a port for the horrible job of whaling. Whale oil being Britain's favourite lubricant.
I can believe that. Yeah. It's, you can burn so much, that it's so much more efficient than like any other lamp oil.
It's cleaner and we love it. And I ended up making this sticker that we will put on our socials. For the listener, it is a sticker of a whale giving a thumbs up that says Britain's favourite lubricant.
How long did that take you?
About 2 minutes.
That's 2 minutes too long.
But as Mary is there, she's actually watching the whaling boats leave every year. And like, it's this grim ceremony where the whole like town gets together and wave off these boats that are probably not going to return.
Wow.
Because they're like, bye. Or if they do, they have to just listen to awful whaling stories.
Yeah.
She starts to hear stories about sailors getting caught in pack ice. And this is very, very similar to what happens to Robert Walton at the beginning of the novel. He's getting packed in ice. And it's where this story is starting to develop. She's starting to build the...
They're really it's real write what you know. And that...
You can see that she wrote it so young because you just go, oh, every life experience you've ever had up until this point has created this thing. There's no subtlety to it. But she's sexy. She's gotten rid of her eczema. She's getting marriage proposals, and she wants no part of it.
I mean, fair play, girl.
I'm the daughter of the woman who invented feminism. I'm gonna go get weird. Percy's not doing anything that he said he did. What a shock. And he's going on a lot of side quests whilst getting increasingly uninterested in his wife, but he does end up remarrying and impregnating again.
With a different... This is not the barista?
This is the barista. This is Harriet.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's like, oh my God, my wife sucks, but like, we'll do a vow renewal and I'll give her another kid, but like, ooh.
I mean, that's man stuff right there.
Would you say that's man stuff?
That's man stuff. Yeah.
You want the renewal, but like, oh my God, shut up.
Yeah, that's what you do the renewal to shut her up, He
would later describe Harriet as was like a dead and living body had been linked in horrible communion.
I mean, women, am I right? Again, upset Percy.
It was also here I wanted to note where Percy has this really fun issue where he's convinced he is being followed by someone who wants to hurt him all the time.
Okay.
And it never stops. But like I said, at this period of time, I go, I 100% believe there is just a guy out there who's like, I'm gonna get him.
Probably.
That there is someone actually following him.
It's the weird thing of like, we think of social media being the thing that like, oh man, you can stalk people so easy. It's like, no, I think it actually puts a bit of distance between you because I think before it'd be like...
You're at home.
You're at home and you could be like, I am going to get after this boy. Like, I'm just going to follow him down dark alleyways if I have to.
You just have to be 100 yards behind him at all times.
Exactly. So...
and everyone's walking everywhere. Mary and Percy meet for the first time on May 5th, 1814. They meet in the bookshop on Skinner Street, and their first meeting is pretty unremarkable, but Percy is like, her, love her, and like visits several times throughout the week. He becomes, I wrote low-key obsessed, but I'm gonna say high-key.
Speaking of stalking, this is the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, he's really drawn to her intellect, and he's also like a massive fanboy of the dad as well. What happens next? They blame on each other in their diaries. Their diaries are almost like mirrors of each other. It's very, very funny. But on June 26th, Percy, Mary, and Mary's stepsister Claire, I remember.
Yeah.
They all visit Mary's mother's grave.
What a fun day out.
I know, right? Again, Goths. What are we going to do today? Oh, let's go to the grave. Claire is a real one and leaves them alone. She goes and does something else. And hidden by the weeping willow over Mary's mother's grave, Percy starts this like, so we're really good friends, right? Mary is thirsty as all hell, and she's like, yeah, we're really good friends. And Percy's like, thank God, because I'm like obsessed with you. Starts to trauma dump on her an unlikely story about being sent to a mental institution. And Mary's like taking off her top, being like, do you know my mom invented feminism? In Percy's diary, he states this day as his true birthday. His birthday is actually on August 4th. And I was like, what a way to phrase it.
Wow.
They did it in a graveyard. Woo!
Wow.
They did it on her mum's grave.
Great.
It's goth stuff.
Ugh. It's grotty is what it is. That's grot bag behavior.
Oh yeah, because if you change the outfits on this and everyone's wearing like cat ears
And smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I can see it.
yeah, and those like hoodies that you've like chewed the thumb through, we all had them.
No, we didn't. Don't. Yeah, I was not part of this Tumblr generation, which I'm now finding out has been around forever. You know, we just have a name for
Teenagers
it now.
have always been the same. It's absolutely delightful. Well, in a shock to no one, Jared, everyone hated this when they found out.
Well, yeah, it's quite tasteless. Like I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. It's also it's more the like impropriety of it rather than the grave. I think they were less concerned about the graveyard and more about the boning.
I mean, both aren't great. You know, he is married to a half dead, half alive woman, as he describes her, and has knocked her up. So, you know.
But William is still like, but where's my money? Mary Jane's losing it over a loss of reputation. Percy comes back being like, so the money thing. How about I give you half and I elope with your daughter? And he's like, no, absolutely not. Percy is banned from Skinner Street.
I was going to say, I don't care about you and my daughter. I need money.
So you know that money I promised?
Yeah.
How about I give you half of it and I continue to bang your teen daughter?
I was going to say, like, what's the upside for me? I get half the money and my daughter that's been bogging off around Scotland, you know. Where's the upside?
But you didn't want to hang out with her anyway. So
Exactly.
Harriet also ends up sending Mary a letter being like, it reads like Jolene. It's like, please, can you not? He is my husband. And she's like, don't want to though. Love this stuff. About a week later, Percy shows up to Skinner Street again, throws Mary Jane down the stairs, busts into Mary's room, and tries to convince her to kill herself with a bottle of laudanum while he shoots himself. Because if we can't live together, we'll die together. Everyone's crying and freaking out.
I mean, you know, sometimes you just gotta you gotta go with the big swings.
You gotta let a girl know that you like her.
Exactly. You know, this is the thing. Like, chivalry's like clearly dead.
Guys, we used to be romantic. We used to throw a stepmother down the stairs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mary ends up calming him down, being like, I'll be faithful regardless. And he leaves, but leaves the laudanum just in case she needs something whilst looking for new Pon and Z images online. Yeah. Another week later, Skinner Street is visited by Percy's landlord because Percy's roommate had overdosed. Mary Jane rushes over to help. Turns out the roommate's fine, but it creates a situation so they can exchange letters. I want to ask, did Percy Shelley try to kill his roommate in order to see his goth girlfriend?
Like I've said many times throughout this episode, lad stuff. You don't get it, all right? You don't get it, and you ain't gonna get it.
William tries one last time, pleading for the money. And he's like, I will give you, like, please, just leave us alone, give me the cash. This does not work out because Percy, Mary, and their graveyard enabler Claire have a plan. They're going to run away to Europe together. So at 4 a.m, with basically none of their possessions, they end up meeting. And Percy notes in his diary, she's in my arms and she is safe. They travel down to Dover, and because Mary is possibly pregnant, she is just vomiting the whole time. Percy thinks they're being followed.
As always.
Yeah. At Dover, they hire a fishing boat, which almost sank. Mary Jane tries to follow them. So he's not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
But she's unsuccessful.
She's like, I'm not getting on a boat. Can't be asked for that.
Well, eventually they're free and in Paris. And Jared, imagine being 16 and in Paris for the first time with someone you love. Well, they thought it sucked because it wasn't as revolutionary as they like wanted it to be.
Well, yeah, you know, again, we say it every time, but like the Champs-Elysees is based on Southport, so could have gone to Southport.
Yeah, they really wanted it to still be like French Revolution, France. And it's like
It's been a while.
It's been a hot sec, yeah.
Since then, so you know.
Well, issue. Percy had no letters of introduction to French bankers, which meant he couldn't borrow any money and he didn't take any with him.
Smart, you know.
He's got that rich kid thing of just like assuming that everything is free.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I mean, you know, it's how much for a banana? $10? Like
he ends up being able to borrow £60, which is about $7,500. Which for like, again, you're like a billionaire's kid, and the bank is being like, we can throw you like $5,000.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like,
I think he's kind of piss poor for his peerage.
I mean, I guess my thing is that like you have to understand that you've got no identity, like documents, you have nothing to prove who you are, and the bank goes, here's like $7,000. I have to give my face ID over to watch porn now. So like I get nothing for free. Except for this week off work, I guess. I
was gonna say, like, let's not be playing that game.
Yeah.
These children suck at being in the world.
As do most children, to be fair.
It really is, like, when you hear about, like, freshers trying to buy furniture, it's a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because they are trying now from Paris to walk to Switzerland.
That is such, like, university behavior.
Yeah. Like, we can walk home.
We can walk home, yeah. We'll just go from town and we'll walk. Like, it's 10 minutes in the taxi, so it's going to be, like, what, half an hour to walk? And it's like, oh, no, it's like 2 and a bit hours.
Yeah, it's going to take you all night.
Yeah.
Well, they bought a donkey. It died. So they ended up walking further until Percy twisted his ankle.
Oh, man.
So he bought a mule and rode it. Mary is definitely pregnant by this point. So there is this pregnant teen girl walking alongside a 19-year-old boyfriend riding the mule because his foot hurts.
Again, lad stuff.
This episode's brought to you by lad stuff. Percy also sends a letter to Harriet being like, hey, what if you just came and lived with us in like this free love commune? And she's like, no, stop. Hate you. They try to briefly adopt a child. Again, many side quests for these little guys. But eventually, they end up in Switzerland. Because while in Switzerland, we learn about Conrad Dipple, another character I wanted to bring up because I quite like Conrad. He was born in the actual Castle Frankenstein. Yeah, I never knew Castle Frankenstein was a real thing.
No, me neither.
It's not in the book, I believe.
Just like the name.
He was a scientist and studied alchemy, and he was like chased out of Strasbourg because of human experiments and grave robbing. He believed you could bring a person back from the dead with a mixture of blood and bone from humans and animals. Again, cool guy.
Yeah, good stuff.
Dipple also claimed he'd invented a solution that would allow him to live to 135. He died at age 61.
I mean, you know.
You were so close.
You were so close. You're like halfway there.
And we see this almost directly again mirrored in Frankenstein because the use of animal parts is used in building the monster, and Victor loves to spend a bunch of time pontificating about immortality. They eventually run out of money and patience with Claire because she's been third-wheeling them the whole time when they just want to bone.
Yeah, that's, again, also fair.
They end up returning to England. Percy can't pay for the passage, so the women get held hostage on the boat while he goes and like begs to Harriet for money.
And how did that go?
I mean, they got off the boat.
Well, there we go then. Win-win.
But in a shock to no one, Mary and Percy are not like super popular, and they're not getting like a lot of visits from anyone. Apart from a guy called Thomas Jefferson Hogg, who's also being like, hey, you could be in a relationship with Mary. But on February 22nd, Mary gave birth to a daughter. The baby was expected in late April, and the baby died in early March.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There is a letter that she writes to Hogg about the event, and I was going to include the quote, and I took it out because it's just too sad.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah, no, it's a real kind of turning point in this story. Because at this point, everyone's trying to set up this free love commune, and she's like, do you know what? Everyone out of my house.
Yeah.
I just can't. She is devastated by what happens because she already felt responsible for her mother's death, and now she feels responsible for her daughter's. She also starts having dreams about the baby coming back to life. And it's this really tragic piece of the puzzle. Again, you go, we get to the novel, but it's because of all of these things. Not long after, in 1815, Percy may have got Claire pregnant, and they were both hiding out in London.
Oh, good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Percy.
Sister and stepsister. Wow.
He's doing the whole... There was also speculation that he might have also tried to date Fanny.
Wow.
So he was really going for like the whole DAC. Mary was also pregnant shortly after. And
he's made us good stuff, you know.
Bam,
He's
pregnant. Bam, pregnant.
He's got good lead in his pencil, you know.
He's really like painting the town.
Yeah, he really is.
And you go, why do all of these children look the same?
Is he like Quagmire from like Family Guy type situation? Is that what we're picking up on here?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
They did also like leverage the fact that all the kids look kind of related later on to be like, oh no, it's like this person's baby. No, it's actually this person's baby. So
I see.
We could like hide who the kids were. But Mary is very, very concerned about this pregnancy, and she ends up moving to Torquay because they believed it had health benefits.
Just going to Torquay.
It was good air.
I see.
It was
the sea air.
Yeah, all of that sort of thing. A bit like Bath at the time.
Yeah.
She's like alone and pregnant, and she's just kind of wandering around the ports. And she ends up in one of the ports that has a lot of slave trade in them. The Slave Trade Felony Act of 1811 did basically nothing to change anything about slavery in England. And her family had like this very long vocal history against slavery. Her father like refused to eat or even purchase sugar.
It's also because he was British as well. We don't like to season our food, you know.
It's
like
that's too fun for William. That's too fun for William.
This is too spicy. I can't be having this.
Oh, sugar. No. It's making my knees lift. I don't feel like I want to write essays like why I should be dead right now and looking at all this death around me. She starts seeing firsthand the treatment of enslaved people, and there's really easy parallels to be made between Frankenstein's creature and enslaved people. Both physically, there's really long descriptions that you can make very A to B comparisons, and societally, like being treated as inferior for things outside of your control. And also this kind of like, why did you bring me here if you hate me?
Yeah.
Sort of like feeling. And this really, really affects her. She talks about this at length in her diaries. In 1816, Mary gave birth to her son, William. And thankfully, this pregnancy...
Oh my God, another William.
More Williams. This pregnancy had been easier, except Percy was doing a bunch of weird inheritance dealings and had a lot of Jeremy Kyle style family drama regarding money and how he was getting everyone pregnant.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Jeremy Kyle for our international listeners.
Jerry Springer.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
but they weren't actors. They were just poor people.
Yeah, they were. Or like Maury Povich type deal.
I think that's closer. Yeah. And they are doing my favorite thing of sending letters back and forth. The way we talk about this a lot in our Oscar Wilde episode, but now the way we send texts, people had to write letters.
Yeah. And that's a whole... people think that of like, oh well, you send a text and it's like, oh, it's just a back and forth and like drama and stuff and it escalates it. Imagine having that, but you've got to wait like a good few days,
a week sometimes for someone to go,
yeah,
and you just receive a response and it just says fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, great. Eventually this is resolved as Percy promises to give William some money and he promises not to leave the country. He shortly leaves the country with Mary and Claire.
Okay.
However,
again, lad stuff.
It's not Percy's fault this time.
Okay.
It's Lord Byron's.
Oh, okay.
He had also been in hiding after making a massive ass of himself in various ways, one of which including shacking up with his half-sister.
Gross. That's not lad stuff. That's just gross.
He needed to get out of England, and he'd been orbiting Claire for a while. Claire was obsessed with him, and he's like, she's cool, but he got a real ick when she's like, when you come live with us, you could bang Mary, because everyone loves banging Mary. And he's like, ew, gross. I just want to bang my half-sister. And maybe you, because you look a bit like her. He needed to go, and he wanted to take Claire, but because it was improper for an unmarried couple to travel alone, he used Claire to convince Percy and Shelley. I'm like, oh my god, fun trip. And that brings us to having them all in Switzerland and the famous night on Lake Geneva. We're getting to the book, Jared.
I was going to say, like, we're almost there. Because I feel like she's already written the book in her head based on everything that's happened in her life.
She's not super far off.
It didn't take her much, you know.
No. It's a real, like, A to B. It's very...
Yeah.
It didn't take her super... Did not really, like, extend the...
No.
Didn't try too hard. Byron was also accompanied by a guy called John William Polidori, who's best known for his novel The Vampire, which is also credited as the first vampire novel.
Wow.
He's the reason we got Twilight, everyone.
Bram Stoker, like, stealing this guy's sample, you know? Like, that's not your sample, Bram. Like,
Bram Stoker's, like, a little bit after this, I think.
Damn.
I mentioned Polidori because he's such a goober. He would have actually loved Twilight. He falls in love with Mary the moment they meet, and he sprains his ankle trying to jump out of a 6-story window in an attempt to impress her. Again,
Lad shit. That's lad stuff right there.
People
love women. Women like to pretend that they don't love when men do cool stunts like jumping out of a window. They love to pretend that they don't love it, but we all know.
I love nothing more than a man falling out of a window going, ow, my knees.
But men, we know that you love it, and we know that you say that you don't like it because you actually do. You know, like that's lad stuff. Again, you don't understand.
At university, I was outside the library having a cigarette, and I overheard a conversation of two, I'm going to say gentlemen, because they were both wearing fedoras, talking about how one of them could run up a wall and do a backflip. And his friend is going, no, you cannot. I do not believe you. There is no way you can do this. And he's like, yeah, I definitely can.
I bet you he could.
He ran face first into that wall. And I had to put my cigarette out because I was choking from laughing so hard. He just ran into the wall. And everyone's like, oh.
Again, though.
Oh, no.
Again, though, like, imagine.
And that was so hot. But I went up to him and went,
Imagine if he did it. That's the thing. Imagine if he did it. You would have been so impressed, you know? This is the thing. It's like, women, it's the same with, like, cars, you know? Women love it when you do silly car things, like hanging out the side of it, you know? A thing that I may or may not have done.
Well, Polidori sprained his ankle, and everyone's like, oh, we can make you feel better. And they let him read, like, the play he'd been working on, and they just roasted him the entire time.
Yeah.
Byron and Percy sat on the floor and threw things at him. In his diary that day, he wrote, worth nothing.
Wow.
There's no other entry.
That's so deep. That's so deep, bro.
By my reading of it, this sounds like an insufferable group of smart-ass dudes who get all the time in the world to discuss the big issues of the day.
Absolutely.
And one of their favorite ones was William Lawrence, professor of anatomy at Royal College of Physicians, because he had recently given 2 lectures about how life was a natural process and had nothing to do with God.
That's pretty spicy. That's a spicy one.
I know. That's caused this room of sideburns to, like, lose their mind because they're like, electrocuting corpses is poggers. But how dare you suggest it's got nothing to do with Jesus?
I mean, but I thought Percy was, like, big old atheist with his...
Yeah, Percy is. That's why they're talking about in support of the lectures.
Oh, so they're sort of being like, oh my God, I can't believe that this guy's, like, people are, like, sleeping on him. Like,
yeah.
You know... He's like telling you to like electrocute corpses and tidy your room. Like, well, what a Chad.
Uh,
you know.
They're also like saying that supplements are fake and look at my arms. And you're like, Percy, your arms are embarrassing. This was during an incredibly wet summer. Records show there were significantly more electrical storms than previous years, and it was known as the year without a summer. So
bloody every summer in the UK, am I bloody right?
We had quite a nice one this year.
Yeah, we did. It was all right. You know,
very favourable. Lovely autumn as well. They spend a lot of time sitting around like reading fairy tales and discussing like the occult. So there is a version of this story which is very, very simplified. And the book I use as reference for this episode, which was Mary Shelley by Miranda Seymour, actually breaks it down a bit more realistically. The story is that one night they sat around telling ghost stories and they challenged each other to write one. A few days later, they come back and Mary has Frankenstein.
Guess she wrote it as a bet. Good on you, lass.
Yeah, it probably didn't work out as kind of simply as that. I think they didn't really have a lot to do in the house because they couldn't go out. So over a couple of weeks, they'd started developing ideas that would later become these stories. In the third published edition of Frankenstein, in the preface, Mary actually talks about during that time, Byron had begun working on what would later become Mazeppa, a poem I've never read.
Yep.
Percy had started a story about his childhood, obviously. And Polidori had wrote some terrible story about a skull-headed woman who was punished for peeping through a keyhole. There's also a story about how Byron tells a story to the group at midnight and Percy runs out screaming because it's about how a woman has eyes instead of nipples. And that like haunted him for the rest of his life. Really bothered him.
That feels like one of those things, you know, sometimes when you're on like a not super reputable news site.
Yes.
And you scroll down and it's like, you won't believe what happened to these 4 people. Number 3 will make you shit your pants. And it's like, and like the picture will be like a frog with like a bunch of holes in its back. Like
yeah.
And then a woman with eyes where her nipples would be or whatever.
Yeah, you get sent it in like a link that would be like fun dog video. And you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
But whilst like leading up to this, I love this idea of like this 17-year-old Mary being like on Lake Geneva. It is this huge thunderstorm. You have everything you've learned about like galvanism and electrocuting frogs. You have this like lifetime's burden of tragedy on you. Like
a Tom Scott video about microwave hamsters. She definitely saw it. We all did. We all know the video. We all know it.
People talk about how like it was a miracle Frankenstein was written. I go like it's more of a miracle.
It's more of an inevitability,
right?
I think.
Like it's so much. It was always going to happen.
Yeah.
And the first edition of the novel was published anonymously in London on January 1st, 1818. The second edition was published in Paris in 1821, and it did actually include Mary's name on it. But what's Frankenstein about, Jared?
I don't know. It's like all I know is that Dr. Frankenstein is the man. The Tom Scott video is the monster.
Donna is the podcast and Jared is the monster.
Yeah, that's it. You know, that's the only thing I really know. I will be really honest, and I will, you know, I will show my ignorance on this. Of like, I know very little of Gothic literature. I've never read a book, so this is new. This is all brand new to me.
Well, I will run through this as quickly as I can because we don't need introduction to literature.
Yeah.
But the novel begins with letters from explorer Robert Walton. We're going to talk about Robert in the post show because he's my favorite fictional character ever for a bunch of different reasons.
Wow.
He is sailing to the North Pole for what is beyond the Arctic and the thing that moves the needle. And as he's caught in pack ice, he sees this enormous figure running. And they lose it. And they're like, weird. They later end up finding a man in the ice, which is even weirder.
It's pretty weird.
I mean, in the Arctic, just kind of alone.
Yeah, that's,
And this man is Victor Frankenstein. He is helped upon the boat, where he begins to tell Robert his story. While studying at University of Ingolstadt, after the death of his mother, Victor becomes obsessed with alchemy, chemistry, and electricity. And he decides, I'm going to discover the secrets of life. You know how men do.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, lad stuff. Lad stuff.
This episode's brought to you by lad stuff.
It really is.
So he sets about collecting human and animal parts to build a giant humanoid creature. He has a really smart idea. Bigger the creature, easier it is to make. Because all the parts just fit together. You're not having to get all teeny tiny.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were sort of like IKEA furniture, like flat pack building a man.
Basically does, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
During an electrical storm, he uses this to bring this creature to life, and in doing so becomes God. He's then like, awesome, great job, goes to bed.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Wakes up in the morning, oh no, creature's gone.
Oh, damn.
Out alone in the world now, the creature is trying to understand what is going on. Because you've just been reanimated, created various different pieces.
Stitched together, yeah.
Like when you wake up with a hangover and you're in someone else's house and you're like, sorry, did I used to be a human being?
Yeah.
Bit like that. And also, like, when you're hungover, he learns that humans are terrifying and only mean to cause him harm. He discovers fire. He eventually finds a tiny house and starts observing a family that lives in a house nearby. He learns to speak English and he learns to read. He also reads Paradise Lost in this time.
Oh.
Picks it up dead quick. The novel takes a sec for him to brag about how he learns English better than a foreign woman.
Okay.
That goes nowhere. And he starts finding letters in his clothes that tell him about who Victor is and the nature of his existence. And he's like, okay, I'm putting the pieces together, and decides that he will reveal himself to the family. After experiencing a really brief moment of tenderness with a blind old man, he's discovered by a little girl. The girl obviously is terrified.
Yep.
Runs away. He tries to save her from drowning in a river and is shot for his efforts.
Oh, good.
Now we're looking for revenge. Why did you make me? Why am I here? He seeks out Victor. He murders Victor's brother, eventually finds Victor in the mountains and demands to be made a bride. Being like, I'm lonely. I need a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Victor's a bit like...
Again, lad stuff.
Victor reluctantly agrees, but ends up destroying it halfway through because he has an existential crisis about it giving birth.
That's fair. That's a gross thought that you don't want to think about.
If it's a novel that interests you, it is a really interesting passage of him just melting down, being like, oh, I hate all of this. This is all bad.
It's bad, yeah. You don't want that.
Well, in return, the monster destroys Victor's best friend, Henry, and his wife on his wedding night. So they just start kind of chasing each other down until they end up in the Arctic, where our story begins. In his broken down state, Victor dies on the boat, never really dealing with what he wrought into the world.
Yeah.
And that's the story of Frankenstein, everyone.
Well, there we go,
The novel originally came out to mixed reviews. There is the British critic attacks the novels for its flaws, stating, the writer, we understand, a female, is an aggravation of that which is prevailing the fault of the novel. But if our authoress can forget the gentleness of her sex, it is no reason why we should. We shall therefore dismiss the novel without further comment. Flip side, a modern critique would be film director Guillermo Del Toro describes it as the quintessential teenage book. You don't belong, you're brought into this world by people that don't care about you, and you're thrown into a world of pain and suffering and tears and hunger. It's written by a teenage girl. It's a mind-blowing book.
And then he says, could do with more fish people, 7 out of 10. The man's got his style,
He does love a fish person. He loves fishy things. In 1823, the novel was adapted into a play called Presumption, or The Fate of Frankenstein, by Richard Brinsley Peake. This is notable because this has the first introduction of Victor's sidekick character, Igor.
Oh.
Igor's not in the original novel.
Damn.
And neither is the scene of the monster being chased by villagers.
I mean, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, a lot of the stuff that we know and understand to be in it is actually added way later.
Who is that by again?
Richard Brinsley Peake.
He sounds like a drummer for Spinal Tap. Joe Stumpy Peeps.
Mary Shelley actually saw this adaptation.
I thought you were going to say she saw Spinal Tap.
Oh, she loves Spinal Tap. No, she actually managed to see the stage adaptation of her own play, writing to a friend, "The story is not well managed, but Cook played the characters extremely well. Indeed, he is well imagined and executed. I was much amused. They continue to play it even now." The first filmed adaptation of the novel is a short film in 1910, directed by J. Shirley Darley.
Ooh.
And then we have probably the most well-known, or the one that really establishes it into pop culture, which is the 1931 Universal Pictures adaptation of Frankenstein.
Yep.
With Boris Karloff's performance with his big square head.
Yeah. The classic.
It's really interesting because the monster is described so differently in the novel. And we'll see in the upcoming Guillermo Del Toro adaptation a lot closer to those descriptions.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting the way they kind of adapted it, and we now, that's what we think Frankenstein is.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from just the thing of the convenience of being able to make that.
Yeah.
To be able to show it on screen is, the big square head, the bolt sticking out the neck.
It's so immediately recognizable.
Yeah, I think that's the thing of it, of again, I've not read the book, as I said, but a very detailed description, while probably very, very handy, is oh, well, actually, it's a bit easier to kind of do. It's the same thing with the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
It's that, she is kind of more described as a short, squat little woman who's just she's not green or anything.
She's just kind of an ugly little fat thing.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So, and it's just oh, but on film that doesn't quite work as well. And also we don't have the thing as much going forward. Mm-hmm. We actually aren't back then too bothered about authenticity to the.
No, we are able to really step away from it because
it doesn't.
Who really cares?
Yeah,
we're making a thing.
Yeah. So it's it's things like that I think I do think we have lost a little bit of that, of being able to have the creative freedom to just sort of be well, actually, I think the character would look like this, and rather than a bunch of people being oh my God, it's not book accurate. People just, yeah, exactly.
I think it looks different.
Yeah, exactly. It's we don't have, you didn't have that then. If you were unhappy with something, you just
had to shut up and deal with it.
You just had to shut up and deal with it and grumble about it. But no one would ever hear your grumblings. And, again, I think for the most part, it's oh yeah, Frankenstein, one of the most iconic monsters of all time.
Yeah.
And the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah,
another iconic villain.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us really nicely to our question, Jared. But is there something you need to do first?
Oh, you caught me while I was having a sip of my coffee. But yes, there is.
I wasn't setting you up. I was letting you.
You really threw it at me right there.
Well, because usually I start wrapping up and you're whoa, hold on.
Hold on a minute. We need to get it going. But yes, this has been an absolutely very, very interesting episode. And if you have enjoyed it, please leave us a comment down below. I'm going to go with, what's your favorite classic monster? And don't say humans, that doesn't count. We're gonna go, don't give me anything hacky. I want Wolfman, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, big octopus type thing. What's your favorite classic monster? If you can leave that in the comment down below on YouTube or Spotify, or you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be much appreciated. We also have the post show coming up on Patreon, patreon.com/howtobeanicon, because we've received a very fun package. Find out what it is over there, patreon.com/howtobeanicon.
That was the sound of the package for
anyone. It sure was, anyone wondering. And also, as well, you get access to our Spooky Club for this month of Halloween. Our first episode is already out, Resident Evil 4. We have another one coming out this Friday, so you can see on that. And if you want to keep up to date with everything going on with How to Be an Icon, which I'm sure you do.
Because we've got so much stuff.
We have.
You have no idea what we've got.
You've got so much stuff planned. We've got so much stuff going on. You can keep abreast of it all at How to Be an Icon Pod on Instagram.
But Jared, is Mary Shelley an icon?
I think if you invent an entire genre, yes, I think so. And like, not just like Leslie Nielsen, he's known for parody. Like, no.
Yeah.
You invent the concept of science fiction.
I have a point that puts it quite succinctly in a moment, but yeah.
Like, you know, I think you can't not be considered an icon. Like, it's just sort of a bit like, yeah, obviously 100%. And again, like, that's kind of before you even get into the thing of her being like, well, being a, you know, prominent female author, you know, is back then, that's a huge deal. That's a huge thing. Like,
especially a fiction that wasn't lady fiction.
Yeah, it wasn't lady fiction. It wasn't Bridget Jones, which I love, by the way. But like, you know.
I was about to say, what was the Bridget Jones equivalent? It would have been Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Just answered my own question.
Yeah. But like, you know, again, you're inventing an entire genre that has like influenced literally everything that has come after it.
Oh, yeah. Wait till I actually list these out, because it's wild when you do it.
So, yeah, no, I think it's very fair to say that she is an icon.
Yeah. As of September 2025, there are at least 425 feature films, 149 short films, 332 TV shows or episodes that in some way feature an interpretation of Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
That's wild. That is a ridiculous... Because I was trying to... And I was struggling a bit because I don't really have a good example of it. Trying to find someone who'd done more.
Ooh. Oh, man. I wonder...
Maybe only Dracula.
Dracula, I think.
Jesus?
I mean, Jesus, yeah, probably. I would say...
Santa?
Yeah, Santa's a good one. Pride and Prejudice has been, like, adapted in so many different, like... So, you know, Jane Austen, maybe.
Maybe, but probably not as many.
The British Office.
Oh, yeah. There was a study conducted among American school kids, and they found that more of them could recognize Frankenstein than the president.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, the president changes every, like, 4 to 8 years.
And Frankenstein stays the same
forever. Like, that's an unfair comparison.
Oh, I want that on a shirt so bad of, like, the president changes every year, but Frankenstein's forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Look forward to that with my Britain's favorite lubricant sticker that I'm going to come out with. I think it's worth remembering that she wrote that novel at the age of 19.
Madness.
And is considered easily one of the most influential in the English language. This is not an exaggeration. We have Star Wars because of Mary Shelley.
Yeah, absolutely. In a very clear and direct way.
As I will now demonstrate.
Okay.
From Shelley, we get H.G. Wells and Jules Vernon.
I love that you're doing, like, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here.
Yeah.
Like...
But it's not even 6 degrees. It's almost like this direct line down through, like, English literature, because after that we get Aldous Huxley and George Orwell, which paves the way for Isaac Asimov and Philip K. Dick. We have Mewtwo and Stitch because of Mary Shelley.
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy. This list can go on. And at the top of that pyramid is a 19-year-old goth girl.
Yeah.
And name me something more iconic.
I mean, you know, we love them. We love them all. Like, yeah, what would your lesson be?
Just experience more tragedy than a human being can deal with. And just actually, like, instead of getting therapy, invent a new genre.
I was going to go, you know, not completely off from that. But base things on, like, what you know. Like, use your life as a very good jumping off point, because it often is. For example, I'm an icon. Like, everyone knows me and loves me.
Yep.
So I was like, well, how do I impart this to the people I know? No. But again, like, I have a background in like doing audio and radio and stuff, and it's like, well, I wanted to do something with it, and it's taken me a long time to get around to this point. But it's like, well, yeah, make a podcast, and like I know that's not like groundbreaking, revolutionary stuff, but
It will
like,
be one day.
but like do things based on what you know. Like you can use it in any way that you want. So I think that it's like just using what you have as a basis is like such a good place to start with anything.
And my actual serious point would be, do not underestimate how intelligent you are.
Yeah.
Because everything around Mary Shelley was so lucky to be in an environment that was encouraging of her to do that. A big reason she was able to finish the novel was because of Percy being like, no, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Her being allowed the education and actually being encouraged to be an intelligent woman by the men around her.
Yeah.
She doesn't underestimate herself. She doesn't second guess herself. She is standing toe to toe with these men and going, no, I can understand these conversations and involve myself in them. And that's how we end up here, of just someone being so confident of their skills and going, you know what you have, put it out there.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Because it is interesting to think about how many women didn't write novels at this time and how much we didn't get.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool that we got Frankenstein.
Also, other lesson, lad stuff. Lad stuff.
That's the most important one. And when we do our lad stuff series, Percy Shelley and Lord Byron.
Yeah. Lads on tour.
Lads on tour.
Lads. Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Oh, man, they would have absolutely loved a pub tour.
Oh, I bet they would. I mean, again, they're men. They're lads. That's what they are. Well, thank you very much for this episode. It has been absolutely wonderful as always. Like I say, please give us a follow on your podcast platform of choice, whether Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We are, again, on Instagram, How to Be an Icon Pod. And if you really enjoyed this episode, go over to our Patreon. It's free. How to Be an Icon at patreon.com. It's very, very good, and it's very, very fun. But thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Son, for this episode.
Thank you so much for indulging me. I love doing these literature episodes.
Yeah.
It really feels like I'm a student again. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.
And Frankenstein home safe, everybody.
It's alive.